Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Dorbin number 16B 1/2. This is a piece of roll-formed bronze weather stripping that is typically used in a door situation. On the hinge side of the door, this can be used very commonly. It depends on what you're using on the rest of the system. You can use the 16B along with an M4B and a 32B if you're doing a full system, or the 16B is also used in systems just by itself. But when you're using it as a single piece, it'll be installed on the hinge side with this leg towards the face of the stop. So let's get first of all to the dimensional properties of this item. Dorbin shows that the material thickness of the bronze is 0.016. And putting the caliper on the sample that I have here, it's 0.020 thick. The overall width of the item, 0.507, 0.507, so just say it's half of an inch. That's 0.507, just heavy on half of an inch. The overall height of the item, 0.424, 0.424. So almost 7/16. The question becomes, how do you prep the door for this? Well, you've got the dimensions here. You know that you're going to make a slot in the hinge side of the door for this. If your total height is 0.424, if that's what it was, you're going to leave a small amount of margin. Yeah, 0.424. You're going to cut that a little bit deeper, say 15, 30 seconds, something in that range. Okay, something. I mean, and really, that's actually incorrect because your door doesn't require all of that space. You're probably going to be able to easily get away with not deeper than 3/8. Yeah, I mean, the dimension from here to the top of the rib is 0.389. So if your total depth was about 3/8 of an inch, you're going to be in great shape. The question is how also wide to make the slot. Well, the thickness of this, it's quite thin, but a typical cutter size, so the thickness of this is 0.084, 0.084. Okay, a typical cutter for this is going to be, well, there are two primary cutters. There's a 5/32 wide cutter that people will use, and that's going to be 0.156. And then there's another typical cutter that's used, which is 9/64. So 0.156 is one cutter, and then 0.140, pardon me. Yeah, you've got 5/32 is 0.156, or 9/64 is 0.140. So 0.156 would be a common cutter, that 5/64. That's going to be a good slot size for this, something right in that range. You're going to need to determine when you place this on the frame, you're just physically going to measure from where the door is to reside in the opening at 90 degree. Okay, where does this rib fall in place of where that door is going to be? So if you were literally butting this to the face of the stop, which would be certainly permissible, it's not technically drawn that way. Well, it is actually. It's drawn that way, that this leg is down to the stop. And then you're going to take your door. What's the dimension from the face of the stop to the face of the door? Okay, and then just pick up the rest of it. What's the dimension from here to the center line here? Take that dimension, deduct from it whatever is left from the face of the stop to the door, and then you've got the center line of your cutter. That's how I would go about doing this. Now, if you're doing the type of 16B where you've got two nested hooks together that are going to come at the header and the lock side, you know, you're going to figure out where those two nested hooks are going to come together and give yourself a small margin on either side of that. You know, scaling out the drawing, you know, tells me that it's a very small amount that's done for that. So if you have any questions on how to go about or where to machine for this, feel free to reach out to us. Now, nails. Let's talk about nails. This 16B is on the site in all common lengths, from 2 foot to 8 foot. You can order it in any length that you want, and I suggest that you do so because you'll save yourself the trouble of having to trim this material, and you don't want to cut it with the wrong tool because you're certainly going to damage the end of it. When Dorbin is cutting this material, they've got the right saw to cut this to get very clean factory cuts. Now, the nails. When you add this to your cart, you're going to need to select a copper nail option. Either not required or required. The trick with the nails is that they're sold in only sold in multiples of 1 ounce. Here's a scenario. You certainly wouldn't need, if you were buying, if you have a 3 foot by 7 foot door and you're buying one 7 foot piece, two 7 foot pieces for the hinge side, one 7 foot piece, two 7 foot pieces because they nest together on the lock side, and then two 3 foot pieces because they nest together at the head. You have a total of 21 plus 6, 27 feet. Is that right? 21 plus 6. Yes, 27 feet. So what Dorbin is saying is they recommend one nail for every 1.5 inch. That, by all accounts, is too close to have the nails put together by everyone's account except Dorbin's, I think. Some people have told me 4 inch, so they like to do it at about 4 inch. Okay, whatever your center to center of the nails, take it this way. If you've got a total of 27 feet, okay, and you're going to multiply that by 12 to get your total number of inches, you're going to divide that by your center to center. Let's just say 4 inch. That means that you're going to need a total of 27 times 12 divided by one nail every 4 inch. That's going to tell you that you need 81 nails. Okay. There are 65 nails in an ounce. So, keeping in mind with that, you would order like maybe your two 3 foot pieces with nails required, and that would give you 2 ounces. Then your three 7 foot pieces, don't elect out of ordering nails for those. Okay. The important part is there's about 65 nails in an ounce. Okay. And then just determine your total length of inches, divide that by, you know, your center to center. You'll know how many you're going to need. Go to the next largest quantity of nails, and that's how you go about it, attaching determining the quantity of nails necessary for the 16B. Now, the name Dorbin is synonymous with bronze and zinc weather stripping used in interlocking weather stripping for not only doors but for original style wood double hung windows as well. Here in Chicago, those original equipment windows are everywhere. They're countless. So you'll find people will purchase that material because they need to simply continue to get useful service out of the existing installation of wood double hung windows. But an interesting time that you'll have when someone is requiring this is also when they are doing historical work. There might be a dorm room that was built in 1892 and it's full of this stuff, or 1920. It's full of interlocking bronze style weather stripping. Well, the new dorm building needs to historically match the original. That's the law. That's the code, I should say. Or that's what the client is requiring. So, hence, you'll be able to get your hands on interlocking weather stripping for those windows and for those doors. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the full line Dorbin catalog and review all things, not only window and door interlocking bronze and zinc weather stripping, but all of the items that Dorbin sells, thresholds, door sweeps, perimeter gasketing. Any questions on the Dorbin 16B bronze L-shaped portion or piece of an interlocking sort of system, or any other Dorbin product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.